Was there a prehistoric monster at Skinwalker Ranch? Get in here, this is a crazy story. This is Cosmic Road, where I discuss UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like, please subscribe, share on social media, and as I'm going through the story, please comment below and let me know what you think. Okay, this story is taken from the book Skinwalkers at the Pentagon, and it's an awesome book about the Pentagon's UFO program, starting with OSAP and BASS, and taking the reader through that whole journey about how those were created. And you know, I'm reading it chapter by chapter, obviously, and I'm sharing bits of it with you that I think are particularly interesting. And this is a fascinating story where the participants observed a prehistoric beast of some sort that appeared to them at Skinwalker Ranch, and then there were consequences afterward. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. There was a DIA agent, Witt. Her last name is Witt. I forget her first name. And she had never been to the ranch before, but in the early days of BASS and OSAP, they took her out to the ranch, and they showed her around, and they kind of camped out, and they saw this amazing creature. Here, I'll just read from the book. After about an hour of uneasy silence, listening to Witt's rapid breathing, Kelleher and Bigelow got up to explore the perimeter. Witt protested at being left alone and quickly joined Kelleher as he headed towards the west side of an old abandoned homestead. Bigelow was about 100 yards south of the pair and could hear the dog several hundred yards away. Suddenly, a cone of silence descended on Kelleher, and that's Calm Kelleher and Witt. The crickets seemed to go silent, and even the faint rustling of the breeze in the trees ceased. Turning around, they saw a creature ambling towards them from the south. It was the size of a 150-pound pig and should have been making considerable noise as it walked. Yet the cone of silence dominated the moonlit scene as the creature glided past within 30 feet of Kelleher and about 50 feet from Witt. To Kelleher, it appeared the animal had a series of dinosaur-like spines on its back and also sported a very large, flattened, beaver-like tail. It noiselessly coasted past the pair and disappeared around the southern corner of the building, still not making a sound. Even Kelleher, who had spent hundreds of days and nights on Skinwalker Ranch and had already been exposed to his fair share of bizarre anomalies on the property, felt a distinct chill as he watched the surreal animal shuffle silently away. Kelleher looked at Witt, who was staring in astonishment at where they had last seen the creature. Quickly, as if a spell had been broken, they hurried around the corner to get another look at the bizarre beast. Nothing was visible. Witt and Kelleher then ran to the north end of the homestead, and still there was no sign of the creature. 10 minutes later, the pair were still searching feverishly in the area when Bigelow joined them. The freakish hybrid of small dinosaur and large beaver had silently and suddenly appeared out of the night in the pasture and had just as silently disappeared without leaving a trace. There had been no time to take photographs, and once again Kelleher was left feeling baffled and frustrated. It was after 2 a.m. and Witt appeared subdued as they made their way back to the trailer to turn in for the night. The following morning, Kelleher discovered that the shaken analyst, Witt, had insisted on having a security officer sleep on a couch outside her room with her bedroom door open and lights in the living room fully illuminated for the entire night. Yeah, hard to blame her. And it goes on from there. There's actually more to that. But first, I just have to say it's very interesting that the ranch exposed itself, if I can say that, to Witt, a DIA analyst and agent, because it had previously exposed itself to another DIA agent And that is what got the whole ball rolling with the government's involvement in Skinwalker Ranch. Indeed, the whole investigation into Skinwalker Ranch would not have happened if the ranch had not chosen to reveal itself and its peculiarities to this DIA agent. So why did it do that? Why? And it was a very interesting revelation to that agent. It had this weird structures like a Mobius loop, and it did some weird things, and that meant something to him because he had I think a mathematics background, and he knew what that shape represented. And the others with him, had they seen that weird thing, probably would not have. It wouldn't have meant the same thing to them. So it's very interesting how it targets people specifically, and it chooses to reveal itself in specific ways to them. But again, it's revealing itself to these DIA agents, and I have to wonder if it wanted to invite this study of the ranch. Why else would it have done that? Because this phenomenon does seem to have, time elements to it, possibly even knowing future events and being able to navigate around them or toward them. So did it steer events in such a way to create the study of the ranch by the government? Why would it do that? Because as soon as the investigation started, it started to hide itself from the investigators. They were still able to see some stuff, and a lot of crazy stuff happened while they were there. But yeah, it does seem to deliberately hide its existence at times. So, and that's why when they do find something, it's kind of a big deal. So why is it hiding itself at the same time it's provoking or inviting this investigation? I find that super fascinating. If you have any ideas, please let me know in the comments below, because I would love to hear your thoughts on that. But the story does go on. Wit returned home, and she had a hitchhiker. The hitchhiker effect followed her home, and she began to have bizarre events happen to her at home, and they are still ongoing today, according to the book. She has shadow beings appear over her bed. She was attacked in her car by a huge owl. An owl larger than any owl that she had ever seen or knew of, attacked her in her car, and she had to get away from it by driving away from it. So, so she has experienced these bizarre events to such an extent that her roommate actually moved out. I think it's a townhome. So whatever it is scary enough to get the roommate to move out, but Wit mysteriously stayed there. Would it have followed her beyond that townhome? So what was the creature that they saw, this prehistoric pig dinosaur beaver thing? What was that? Was that the Skinwalker? Is there a Skinwalker? Because they keep on seeing creatures that sometimes can transform into, humanoid figures. I'm thinking of the wolf and how often, at times, the giant wolf will also become a upright two-legged wolf. And that has been seen on the ranch and also off of the ranch. Is the prehistoric pig beaver dinosaur, is that the same entity? Is that the Skinwalker that can change shape and become whatever it wants to become? When they weren't looking, could that beast have stood upright on two legs and walked away? Was it all in their minds? Did it manifest itself in their minds so that they could see this, but it wasn't really there? I don't know, but that's why I love the mystery of Skinwalker Ranch so much. It's just so weird and so awesome and so deeply mysterious. But this does seem to suggest a link between the Skinwalker, the shape-changing creature thing that can appear humanoid on the ranch, and also the hitchhiker effect. So is the Skinwalker causing the hitchhiker effect? Is the Skinwalker simply one manifestation of a very complex phenomenon at the ranch? Or is the Skinwalker one aspect, one phenomenon of many phenomena? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. That would be awesome. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and if you do, please hit the bell to be notified of future videos. There's social media links below. Please follow me on Facebook and Twitter, and there's also a PayPal button below if you wanted to support the channel. That would be super cool. Until next time, Cosmic Road out.